Coming up in this video, we make our way down to the West Beach Caravan Park. It's the biggest caravan park in South Australia, and it's going to be a long weekend, so we'll see how we go down there at that period. And while we're there, we'll make our way down to Glenelg and we'll have a look at the foreshore down there, as well as Jetty Road. As well as that, we're going to see if we can get some beautiful over the water sunsets as the sun sets over the ocean. All that and more coming up in this video. I'm Mick, and this is Sally. Together we've been caravanning Australia since the 1980s, and more recently we started to put the videos together just to show you some of what we see out there. There's a lot to see in Australia, and we hope you enjoy what we have here to show you. You can follow us on our trips via the following social media platforms. It's only a short run down to West Beach, but you don't have to travel hundreds of kilometres to find somewhere suitable to enjoy yourself, so that's exactly what we've done on this weekend. Somewhere short, but somewhere good. The forecast for this trip on the long weekend was going to be for a few hot days, and it was nearly blue skies everywhere when we drove down to West Beach Caravan Park, and we knew we were going to be in for those couple of hot days. It was Thursday that we checked into the caravan park, so we're one day before the crowd for the long weekend was going to start to roll in, and during that check-in process we were told at that point in time there's going to be in excess of 200 bookings the following day. As we made our way to the site, which was down on the southern part of the caravan park, we knew that even though there was a lot of empty sites at the moment, the caravan park was booked out for the long weekend and it was going to become very, very crowded. G'day everyone, and welcome to another video, and it's coming Adelaide Cup. It's a Thursday now preceding the Adelaide Cup, so it's a long weekend here in Adelaide. And we've decided to come down to the West Beach Caravan Park, and Dion, Sam and the grandkids will be joining us later on, so in for a very busy weekend I think down here. Once we had the van all set up, we thought we'd take a quick walk down to the beach. Now, when we get out to the western side of the caravan park, that's along the water's edge, and it's only a matter of exiting the caravan park here, use the swipe card to open the gate, and walk through the gate, and it will close automatically behind us. And as we do that, we then go up over the sand dune and we start to see a bit of water. There are two exit points to go over to the beach from the caravan park, and if you don't want to walk over the sand dunes as we're doing now, if you go to the northern exit, and you've got a good man-made path, I suppose you'd call it, all the way down to the beach. They're currently carting sand from one part of the beach back up to where we are now, and they've got two of these little dump trucks, I guess you would call them, carting sand. One is loading and one is unloading, and they're just simultaneously reversing their roles, and certainly a lot of sand being moved, but I think this is something that they do each year. West Beach is a very beautiful part of the coastline here in Adelaide, and if they want to maintain that coastline, then I suppose they've got to look after the sand movement. It's over 40 years ago when we first started coming down to West Beach Caravan Park for the caravan, and we cannot recall sand being moved from one part of the beach to where it is now all those years ago. And I wonder whether it's since they've built the West Beach boat ramp that's created some of the sand movement. I may be right, I may be wrong. Now making our way up these steps here, and that's where the northern entry or exit from the caravan park and the entry down on the beach takes you. And here's the caravan park right up alongside the water's edge, and between that fence and the water you've got this beautiful boardwalk that allows you to take a very scenic walk along the beach. Where there's no caravan or vehicle movement, the green lawns are a picture to look at, and when you swing around from the lawns as you look out over the water, you cannot get a better view. The caravan park has got this raised platform viewing area that allows you to look out over the water. Unfortunately, there's a couple of fences to look through, which is a bit disappointing, but never mind. You need that for safety. And then you've got these barbecues here within the caravan park. As well as the many barbecues that they've got throughout the caravan park, they've got this beautiful swimming pool. Not a lot of people in here today, but just remember, it is Thursday and the weekend crowd is yet to arrive. One of the best camp kitchens that you'll find is located here at the hub, and when you go inside, it's got everything on offer. It has various types of seatings and tables. It's got 2 barbecues here with the range hood exhaust fans above them, great for cooking inside. Then they've got the 3 gas burners down here. It's just got everything that the travelling public would need to use if they wanted to cook in a camp kitchen. As well as the main part of the camp kitchen, you've got this room here with seating and TV, just room to do whatever you wish. There are a big number of cabins at this caravan park, and as mentioned before, it is the biggest caravan park in South Australia. So yes, all the cabins here, different variety, different price range and budgets, no doubt. And as well as that, you've got the electric bikes that you can hire and go for a ride around the park should you wish. Even out on the bike and walking trails, I suppose you can take them there, that I'm not sure, but if you're going to hire one, I'm sure you'd find out before you'd pay your money. Totally amazing how the caravan park appeared today on the Thursday without the long weekend crowd, but once that long weekend crowd arrived, all these vacant sites, they were chockers. As we look west from the caravan, we noticed that the sky was starting to turn orange, although there was no cloud in the sky, but we went down to the beach anyway and we thought we'd have a look at the sunset from there. Not as good as if it was cloudy, but such a pretty beach even of a night time with a sunset with no clouds. But nearly high tide now, and all the water's washing up against the sand that was carted in earlier on in the day. Fairly early the following day that we thought we'd go down to Glenelg and have a look at what's been done down there. It's only a short drive, a very short drive in fact, but the day was warming up, so we didn't want to be walking back later on in the afternoon if we were that long down there in a very hot afternoon. So we drove down and then we started to walk on the one side of the Padawalunga, and here it is there. That's the walking path that you use to go across the Padawalunga, and here we are here in a temporary walkway. They're doing some improvements. Exactly what they're doing I'm not sure, but no doubt it'll be better than what they've got at the moment. There was no air movement or wind at all this morning, and as a result of that, The water was like glass, great water reflections. We're still fairly early here, so a lot of shadows, but a very pretty picture to look at once you get out and start walking around in the Glenelg area. The area that we're walking along now takes us past all the cafes and restaurants and eatery areas. You can eat inside, eat outside under the cover here. It's a very beautiful place to visit and even a nicer place to have a meal. As we continue to make our way along the building, we come here to the end, which is the northern end, and here the Padawalunga enters out into the open water. Now walking on the opposite side of the building in a southerly direction, we head out across the sand and start to make our way down to the water. The Glenelg jetty is one jetty that'll be here for a long time, and the reason I say that is actually made out of concrete, and the entire jetty itself, other than the rails on the side, all concrete, nothing like the old jetties in the olden days made out of timber, allowing for rot in the water and the likes. But no, this one's going to be around, I would imagine, for a very, very long time. As we start making our way out onto the jetty, it's nice for a change to be able to walk out onto a jetty and not have the wind trying to blow you off the side, but very calm. Not quite sure where we are with the tides. I would imagine, looking at the wet sand, it must be getting close to low tide, certainly down a long way from the high water mark. There's a lot of lawn area down at the bay, and that's what they call the Glenelg area here, the bay. And with the big Ferris wheel, the lawn, and the other things there that are available for people to do, there's a lot to entertain anyone. For those wishing to travel from the bay to the city or vice versa, there is a tram network that runs constantly up and down the track, and how often they run I'm not sure. Quite frequent, I believe, and that makes for easy connection between the city and Glenelg. As the morning progresses down here in the bay, the numbers of people are starting to increase, and with that as well, the temperature's also starting to rise. The area that we're walking along now is called Jetty Road, and according to media reports, they are looking at doing some major upgrade to the area. As we start making our way back towards our vehicle, we do notice when we come to the Padawalunga that the sun's now higher in the sky, less shadows, and just picture perfect. At this point in time, we thought we'd go past the Collar Reserve and make our way to a bakery that we'd been to many, many years ago, and in fact probably, I wouldn't like to say how long ago, but it's won a lot of awards, this bakery, so we thought we'd go in, have a coffee and sample some of their pastry items. When you've won so many awards and so many trophies, you need a room to display them, and that's exactly what they've got here, and that's what we're looking at now, and what a proud collection it must be. Now Friday afternoon when Down's arriving with his caravan. No Sam and the grandkids at this stage, they were still at school, but he was going to go back and pick them up later on. But Sally and I headed down to the beach to another beautiful sunset, and no clouds again, but still a very beautiful sunset. It was reasonably late on the Friday evening that Dion and Sam and the grandkids arrived back at the caravan park, but with the ducks wandering around the next morning, it was a pretty slow day, but an enjoyable one at that. You'd almost say the caravan park was in full swing now, nearly full, not very many to arrive, kids everywhere, jumping pillows, swimming pool, and even though they were everywhere, with the heat that we were starting to experience, temperatures were on the rise, it really kept the crowd down at a small amount that were out wandering around the park. Daytime temperatures at this point were in the mid-30s or thereabouts, maybe a little bit warmer, and a little bit of breeze, not a lot, and that made it bearable outside. The elder people, well, they were pretty slow in what they were doing, but the young ones, they didn't mind a bit of a ball game every now and again. And it was later on that evening that there was a bit of cloud in the sky today, so we thought we'd venture down to the beach and have a look at the sunset. There was a large number of people down on the beach enjoying the cooler conditions to what we had during the afternoon today, and the camera doesn't really show the numbers here, but right along the beach for as far as you can see there was just people out enjoying the coolness of the water. Some of us thought we'd go out and get wet, and took a while for the rest to move out, but it was cool out there, but for me it was almost too cool. When you're young like the grandkids, the cool water doesn't seem to worry you, but once you start getting my age, it took me a while to paddle out there, but I didn't get my shoulders wet. I wasn't quite that keen, but I thought I felt compelled I had to make an appearance out in the water somewhere just to keep the grandkids happy. But yeah, nice and cool, but very refreshing. Spur of the moment decision, but like me, even Sam thought she had to go out just to test the water that little bit. If there's one camera out taking photos of this very pretty sunset tonight, it made us realise that it was well worth coming down. And even though there was a nice sunset, those water, as it washed over my feet, it couldn't wash away those tan marks. This is going to be our last sunset here, and we head home tomorrow, and the forecast for tomorrow is even hotter than what it was today, so might be a nice thing to be heading home and not sitting out in this heat, but we've enjoyed our time here. We'll end this video here, and not a lot to do here in the caravan park when it's so hot, so we've just been vegging out, but we'll head home now. We get the van service, it has its first service, and then it's a big preparation for a head up north. Once we leave our Easter camp, that's where we're heading next, so until that next video goes up, you take care and look after yourself.